Hello, intrepid lunchroom supervisors. Hey, we all know when you read the schedule and you saw that you were going to be a lunchroom supervisor, I know you felt like you won the lottery. But to be honest, folks, being a lunchroom supervisor is actually a lot of fun. As I say, you make it what it is. It's a great opportunity to connect with kids, engage with kids, sit down, share a meal, talk about what's going on in their lives, build those strong relationships that we know we want to do and that we know is important for all of our students and all of their learning here at the middle school. What is in front of you is a description of the expectations around this particular duty. So I wanted to take a few minutes just to walk you through this for those of you that are going to be doing this for first semester, and those of you that are for second semester, feel free to look ahead, but I'll probably send this out at that time as well. So again, the general procedures, let's kind of review what happens here is that when students enter the lunchroom, we want them to sit down right away and find a table. This is kind of a map of our lunchroom cafeteria. There's the kitchen area over here, the windows and the outdoor patio. These are those pillars along the hallway and the foyer area. We want students to come in, find a table, find a place to sit for their lunch. Once students basically get settled and we kind of look over at the kitchen staff and they sort of give us the nod that they're ready to go, then we start dismissing tables to go get their lunch. And the way that we do that is we always begin on this end, the end of the lunchroom that is by the pillars, by the hallway, in the middle of the building. And what we'll do is we typically have two staff members do this, one down this hallway or aisle of tables, one down this aisle of tables, and you dismiss a row kind of side to side here of tables at a time. And so you'll kind of start up here at these three tables kind of together, let them go, give it a 15 seconds, maybe let the next set of tables go right here. And you kind of work your way down. The most important thing is having a staff member over here by the entrance to the kitchen, and to kind of keep an eye on the line. We don't want the line to get too long. We want it to be nice and compressed so kids aren't standing there waiting, and that's usually when problems arise. So kind of keep an eye on that and then slowly work your way down the lines here and getting each of the different tables to dismiss. They'll go up, they'll get their lunch, bring that back to their seat. We do want students to stay in their seats during lunch. We know obviously at times they get up and get something from the snack bar, or they'll go dump something in the garbage, and there's movement in and around. But for the most part, right, we kind of want kids just to sit down with their friends and enjoy lunch and have those fun conversations. When it's getting towards the end and they start to finish up their meal, what we want them to do is get up and return their tray, clean up their area that they're sitting, return their tray to the dishwasher area over here where we have our garbage bins. Put the recycling where it goes and everything else, and make sure that they return their tray. And that's a great time too for sometimes where kids, if they do make a mess, sometimes that happens, to grab one of the towels in the cleaning solution, or to grab the broom or something, or the mop even maybe, to clean up the mess that they made. And then bring that back to the table, clean up, and then return the materials that they're using. One of the keys here, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but right, is active supervision. So as we are in the lunchroom, it's really important for all of the supervisors to be circulating around the lunchroom, to be really avoiding or refraining from standing together for extended periods of time, talking to one another or on their phones. We want to model that behavior for our kids. This is a great time to connect with kids. So circulate, have conversations with kids up and down the aisles, different places. It's also a great way to really be sort of on top of any kind of maybe mess or anything that kind of gets made at that time, to really get that cleaned up in the moment. Because when we dismiss, that's usually not the best time for us to try to get kids to clean up their station, because then sometimes there's some pushback. So doing it in the moment is much, much better. So again, active supervision. We dismiss in the same order that we dismissed for lunch. So when we dismiss, we start with about 2 minutes remaining in the lunch period. And again, we start over here on the side with the pillars, the side of the hallway. And again, we use two staff members to work down the lunch aisles to dismiss tables, making sure that they're clean and everything is picked up before they get dismissed. It's sometimes even nice to have some of the other supervisors further down the aisle to kind of do some early sweeping and preliminary kind of telling kids to get some things organized, to get things cleaned up before dismissal actually occurs. So the more proactive information and supervision we can provide the kids, the smoother and the cleaner the lunchroom is. Other things to kind of note, as you remember last year, for some of you, we did go outside when the weather was nice. And so when the weather is nice or decent and we can get outside, that's a great time to do that. And so the way that we tend to do this, and we use the patio, and I have a bin of balls and different things that are in the old staff lounge that you can take out. But essentially what we're trying to do here is when kids are done, they will be directed that they should kind of raise their hand or get the attention of one of the supervisors. When you come over, make sure that the table is clean, everything's basically picked up, and when it is, we kind of use just sort of a goofy password. We always just come up with something funny for the day. And then what they do is then they have to use that password to get out the door. We have a staff member who just stands there and just, kind of asks the kids what's the password. They get out and they can grab a ball and then kind of hang out outside, and they'll get directions during advisory on where they can go and where they have to stay and what the rules are for our free play time. But once they're out, they're out. They can't bring food or drink outside. And then ultimately we let them back into the building to go off to advisory to their next class when we kind of see the inside dismissal has almost wrapped up and they're at those last couple tables. So we don't have too much commotion by letting the kids from outside back in. And last but not least, with this particular component of the position, is that often people look to me to sort of take kids outside, but sometimes I'm not there. If you have enough staff members supervising for the day and I'm not there, take the initiative. Feel free to take the kids outside. Officer Meyer loves to take the kids outside too, so just know that that's always an option for you to do. But again, what I ask, just like if I'm there as well, is that we need to make sure we have enough supervision. And you kind of have to sort of game plan. If there's a lot of kids staying inside, then you don't really need very many people outside to supervise. Or vice versa, if there's a lot of kids that go outside, then you kind of got to shift who's inside, who's outside to sort of make sure that we have enough supervision in the places where kids are at. Other considerations, again, like I said, as part of the duty, again, remember active supervision. Circulate throughout the cafeteria, talk to kids, engage with students, and again, refrain from really standing in one spot. Definitely getting on your phones and things like that. It's also nice to really try to support our kitchen staff in keeping the cafeteria clean, right? Everyone, I feel like being in a clean space just promotes better behavior as a general rule, right? So what I always you'll find me doing is carrying around a broom or one of the rags and so on to just kind of continually kind of clean and wipe as the lunch goes on. And so I ask if you're able to do that as well. That would be great. But at a minimum, I would say that in between the lunch shifts, that's a great time to grab a rag or grab the broom and help each other out and help us all out and help our kitchen staff by doing some quick wipe downs and sweeps if, again, whatever might have been left behind. During the lunch, that's a great thing to ask students to do, and students should be cleaning up after themselves. But like I said, always especially during those transitions, we like to kind of pick up as much as we can. And then the last but not least is the kids show up quick and they want to get going for lunch, and so we need you there on time as well too. So our first lunch shift starts at 10:51. Try to get there right at 10:51 or even before if you can, but we get it because you're closing up your classroom that it might take a little bit longer, but really shoot for the start of that lunch shift, so 10:51 for 7th grade and 11:46 for 8th grade. So with that, that is the deal with lunchroom supervision. We'll talk more when we actually present in front of the whole students on those first few days of lunch. But again, I really enjoy lunchroom duty. I think it's a great time to hang out with kids and just kind of have a off sort of part of your day, just to kind of chill and just do some different things. So take advantage of it and really enjoy the opportunity. Thanks for listening.